welcome to This Week in Astrology. This is episode number 684 for November 16th through 30, 2025. The second half of November features Mercury turning direct, a potent Scorpio New Moon, and Uranus Sextile Neptune. We also have Saturn turning direct, the Sun entering Sagittarius, and 3 personals aspecting many outers. These interpretations focus on major events and larger themes, but in the show notes, I link to the day-by-day event listing in my written forecast. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm your host, Benjamin Bernstein. I record these forecasts as an audio podcast and a video, so take your pick. The video version includes detailed chart graphics, which you can also see in my written forecasts at astroshaman.com. Be sure to subscribe to This Week in Astrology, and if you haven't already, be sure to click the link in the show notes for 2 chances to win a free Astrology Plus session with me each month. In fact, I announce our November winner during this episode. Keep your ears peeled if you have entered. Look for section titles in the show notes so you can jump right to the section you want. As of November 16th, we have a waning moon, some continuing aspect patterns, and 3 retrograde planets. Those would be Saturn, Chiron, and Uranus. See details and links to all this in the show notes. One of 2025's most potent lunations lines up on November 20th at 1:47 a.m. EST. That's at 28 degrees, 11 minutes Scorpio. This new moon is so powerful because of its amazing aspects, but let's start with the basics. Any Scorpio new moon is great for new beginnings of any kind, but you can enjoy extra energy in these areas. Transformation, including emotional or shamanic death and rebirth processes. This is a great time for healing old traumas. Thousands do this work with surprising ease and speed with my free healing invocation, which is linked in the show notes, where you can get to it quick and easy by going to astroshaman.com/invocations. Also, enhancing wealth and power. Wealth can be anything you value. Those walking the high road will want to use power in a way that benefits everybody. Sex, which can include soul-blended erotic pleasure. The occult, which can include the high vibration practice of subtle arts such as astrology, tarot, and energy healing, as well as mediumship and psychic talents. This new moon aspects all the social and outer planets. This creates a cradle aspect pattern, which includes the moon, sun, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. This aspect pattern also includes Ceres and Mercury. We actually had a similar situation last month when the Libra new moon also aspected all the social and outer planets. However, the Libra new moon's aspects were all challenging. Thankfully, most of this new moon's connections are harmonious. This does not guarantee a walk down easy street, but it does make a flowing experience easier to achieve. This new moon's tightest aspect is a conjunction with Mercury, which is only a 1/4 degree away from the luminaries. This can supercharge your ability to think, learn, teach, write, and communicate. Mercury's placement in Scorpio can help you focus on taboo topics and support your work as a researcher, detective, or investigator. Since Mercury is retrograde, you can balance the new moon's urge to act now with appropriate planning and reflection. This lunation's only asteroid goddess aspect is a Ceres trine. This flowing connection with the grain goddess can boost your abundance and smooth the way for trauma healing. The rest of this lunation's aspects involve the slower planets. Most importantly, this new moon synchronizes with the 3 agents of evolution, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. These outer planets, renowned for reshaping reality, form a rare and powerful configuration until mid-2030. Among all of this decade's planetary alignments, this mini grand trine is the undisputed centerpiece. Whenever these planetary titans connect, the arc of history bends. One potent example is the seismic shifts of the 1960s, when a Uranus-Pluto conjunction sparked revolutions the world over. Now, for the first time in over 250 years, all 3 outer planets are aligning with extraordinary exactness. Such a potent convergence won't occur again for another 170 years. This threshold is a once-in-a-lifetime gateway. And there's more. Saturn, conjunct Neptune, is part of this lineup until mid-April. His presence intensifies the mini grand trine's influence, grounding its visionary potential into tangible form. Every new moon marks a beginning, a seed moment where new intentions take root, but this one is electric and can give you an extraordinary surge of momentum. Learn more about this historic outer planets mini grand trine by clicking the link in the show notes or by going to astroshaman.com/gods of change. Do not limit yourself to Scorpio themes. This new moon is a launch pad for any renewal, reinvention, or rebirth. Each of the outer planets contributes its own unique medicine to this celestial matrix. This creates a multi-dimensional field of transformation. Let's take it planet by planet. Pluto, which is sextile the sun and moon. Pluto urges you to reclaim your power, not just in material terms, but in your soul's evolution. He stirs the buried wounds that keep looping pain, inviting you to face them and heal. Shadow work may feel intense, but it's the doorway to deep metamorphosis. Fortunately, healing doesn't have to be hard. My free healing invocation makes it simple. Just call on your higher self and let it flush away your old pain. Pluto also rules sacred sexuality, reminding us that true intimacy transcends the body and touches the soul. Neptune, which is trine the luminaries. Neptune opens the channel to divine inspiration. He infuses your creativity with spiritual light and helps you slip into magical flow states. Compassion, dream work, and unconditional love become guiding stars under his influence. Uranus, which is opposite the luminaries, sparks your authenticity. His intuitive hits strike like lightning, sudden, clear, and catalyzing. Trust them. Uranus also encourages you to serve with your gifts, especially those that use your special talents and bring you joy. Saturn, who is trine the luminaries and conjunct Neptune, brings structure to your dreams. He helps you map your vision, manage your time, and embody maturity. His union with Neptune makes it easier to anchor spiritual awakening into daily life and use steady focus to transform inspiration into manifestation. Jupiter, trine the luminaries, is astrology's great amplifier. He boosts the potency of all the other aspects and inspires your goals with a sense of adventure. As ancient astrology's great benefic, Jupiter can increase your luck, and his placement in Cancer can fire up the enthusiasm you need to stay motivated. This potent new moon is a cosmic turbo booster, empowered by the game-changing slower planets. Whatever you initiate now is backed by a rare and powerful wave of support. Get in gear. This new moon Sabian symbol is an Indian woman pleading to the chief for the lives of her children. At first, I thought of the woman as powerless and desperate, a supplicant, and had AI create the image currently showing in the video version of this podcast. But after further reflection, I reimagined the Indian woman as potent and persuasive, so I generated a very different image. Let's take her children to mean the ideals and principles the woman stands for. Now she's advocating for a way of life. This has obvious parallels today. Those who believe in democracy, the rule of law, and respect for all beings are resisting the dark authoritarian impulses of the Trump administration. Beyond that, are there areas in your personal or professional life where it's time to confront an authority figure and speak up for what you believe in? Next, Mercury turns direct on November 29th at 12:39 p.m. EST. That's around 21 degrees Scorpio. The messenger planet turned retrograde 20 days earlier on November 9th, around 7 degrees Sagittarius. If you've been delaying an important new beginning or major purchase because of Mercury retrograde, the coast is clear to move forward. It helps that we're also under a waxing moon, the best lunar energy for initiation. In my November 9th Mercury retrograde interpretation, I suggested that you contemplate how you were expressing Sagittarius and Scorpio themes in your life. These were Mercury's signs during its retrograde. As Mercury turns direct, it's an excellent time to take action in any of these areas. To review them, click the link in the show notes. Did you know that you have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to transform your life with an auspicious Gods of Change astrology alignment? There's a very good chance that the most auspicious window of opportunity of your entire life is happening right now. thanks to an extremely rare alignment of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which I have already mentioned. Click the link in the show notes to learn more, or go to astroshaman.com/gods of change. Also, my deep dive trauma healing service is your potent opportunity for profound personal transformation. It's going to do while Scorpio's hot. It includes 12 hours of deep dive trauma healing, spiritual awakening, and more. You can do this intensive multi-day experience online or in person. And it includes a full year of ongoing support from my Awakening Plus online membership. Click the link in the show notes to learn more, or go to astroshaman.com/deep dive. Back to the forecast. One of 2025's most important aspects, Uranus Sextile Neptune, is exact on November 20th. Uranus, 29.5 Taurus, Neptune, 29.5 Pisces. It was previously exact on August 28th and will perfect 3 more times on July 15 of 2026, January 15 of 2027, and June 6 of 2027. These 2 planets are also heavily engaged with Pluto, with whom they form the world-shaking mini-grand trine that I interpreted in my new moon forecast. But here we'll zoom in on Uranus and Neptune's potentials as a duo. I've broken this down into 10 categories. Each has a negative-positive pairing. So here we go. Revolutions in consciousness, shadow qualities, excessive escapism and fantasy, delusion and denial, gullibility and lack of discernment, positive potentials, breakthroughs and revolutions in consciousness, quantum leaps in awareness, a change of realities, and a new spirit. Next category, visionary renewal, shadow qualities, abstract idealism, philosophical imbalance, and positive potentials, a rebirth of vision, transcendence everywhere, blissful transcendence, blessed enlightenment, a sense of hallelujah, and universal redemption. Next topic, liberation and pluralism, shadow qualities, narcissism and avoidance, unwillingness to engage grounded reality, positive potentials, liberation for all, celebrating variety and pluralism, inclusive solutions, velvet revolutions, dissolved boundaries, greater interconnection while reclaiming cultural uniqueness. Next category, mystical breakthroughs, shadow qualities, spiritual or religious extremism, mystical hubris. Positive potentials are mystical and reverential feelings, religious and spiritual breakthroughs, miracles and epiphanies, leaps of faith, religious reform and tolerance, mystical and prophetic impulses, and the dissolving of individual separateness. Next category, creative imagination, shadow, unfocused and unproductive creative impulses, positive potentials, the rebirth of imagination, free imagination, rediscovery of the invisible, adventures in consciousness, and the fusion of genres. Next, compassion in action, shadow, hypersensitivity and instability, positive, awakenings of compassion, spontaneous compassion, freedom in service, recovered innocence, and peace breaking out all over. Next category, utopia through science. Shadow, strange energies, confusion and lack of reference. Positive potentials, the utopian vision of modern science, human knowledge freely shared with everyone, electronic interdependence. Next category, freedom through uncertainty. Shadow, tiredness and fatigue from instability or constant flux. Positive potentials, freedom in uncertainty, feelings inspired by the winds of change. Next category, archetypal insight. Shadow, the shallow rebellion of the deluded ego. Positive potentials, grokking the archetypal principles underlying consciousness, order, and meaning, transcending ideology, a pantheistic experience of divinity, grace and inspiration, experiencing divine intelligence. Next category, integration and joy. Shadow, ungrounded detachment or ennui. Positive potentials, ascension, integrated rebirth, wholeheartedly enjoying life even while knowing its illusory nature. All right, that's all 10 categories. Next, for a helpful historical perspective, let's take a brief look at the most recent major Uranus-Neptune sky transits. The previous Uranus-Neptune sextile was exact 5 times from fall 1966 through spring 1968. It was in orb mid-1964 through mid-1970. This revolutionary era was marked by civil rights breakthroughs, including the Voting Rights Act. There was post-colonial nation building, Great Society programs, and immigration reform that reshaped demographics. Tech breakthroughs included the first spacewalks and the ramp-up of the Apollo space program. Moore's law was articulated, and early computer networking concepts were seeded. The counterculture also exploded, featuring psychedelics, new kinds of art and music, and bold experiments with consciousness and community. The third outer planet was also very much in the game. A Uranus-Pluto conjunction was in orb, which means close enough to connect, 1960 through 1972. And a Neptune-Pluto sextile was in orb throughout this Uranus-Neptune sextile. I will detail Pluto's influence a bit later in this interpretation. We're going deep on this one. The most recent major Uranus-Neptune aspect, a conjunction, was exact 3 times during 1993. It was in orb 1988 through 1998. This coincided with the collapse of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War. Globalization was transformed by the European Union's single market and the North American Free Trade Agreement. Hopes were also buoyed by the Oslo Accords and the end of apartheid in South Africa. The web browser era exploded, and mobile and network computing took off. An open source, information wants to be free ethos shaped a new social imagination. And huge numbers of people started exploring spiritual awakening and alternative spirituality. Once again, Uranus and Neptune were not acting alone. Pluto was sextile one or both planets throughout their conjunction. As noted in my mini Grand Trine interpretation, Pluto is also inextricably linked to Uranus and Neptune now. Here's how. There was a Uranus-Pluto trine on July 18, 2025, and there will be 4 more Uranus-Pluto trines through mid-2028. Neptune and Pluto are also buddying up with a sextile. They're tightly in orb now, and there will be 13 Neptune-Pluto sextiles between mid-2026 and early 2032. Neptune and Pluto will have made a grand total of 49 sextiles since the first one in this series in 1950. If you include orb, this sextile will have lasted for more than a century, which is why it's called the 100-year sextile. These 3 planets are working as a team. Understanding their interactions can help you better understand these revolutionary times. This Uranus-Neptune sextile interpretation uses material from Ren Butler's extraordinary astrology book, The Archetypal Universe. Big thanks to Ren for permission to share his insights here. All right, that's Uranus-Neptune. Next up, Saturn stations direct on November 27th at 25 degrees Pisces. That'll be at 10:52 p.m. EST. The Time Lord has been retrograde since July 13, around 2 degrees Aries. As Saturn moves forward, it's a great time to consciously embody Saturn's positive qualities. Do you manage your time well? Are you acting maturely and responsibly? Can you plan the work and work the plan? What about Saturn's dark side? Are you working so hard that you're neglecting your family or personal life? Is excessive ambition causing you to close your heart or be cold and ruthless? Saturn's retrograde took place in Aries and Pisces. In my July 13 Saturn retrograde interpretation, I offered themes to contemplate while Saturn was reversing through these signs. Now that he's direct, it's a great time to take positive action in these areas. To review this information, click the link in the show notes. Next, the Sun enters Sagittarius on November 21st at 8:36 p.m. EST. It's easier to feel more exploratory, expansive, and adventurous for the next month. You can immerse more deeply into meaningful studies or share your wisdom with others. You can explore the endlessly fascinating variety of foreign cultures, and you can revel in more joy and celebration. Even Sagittarius has its dark side, though. Be careful not to attempt too many things at once, and don't be so sure that you fully understand the absolute truth about anything. Next, three personal planets, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus, make numerous outer planet aspects during the second half of November. Here are some great ways to work with these multifaceted energies. The Sun aspects all the slower planets November 17 through November 23rd. He also conjoins Mercury and forms two harmonious aspect patterns. It turns out that I don't have to go into all this because I've already discussed it in my new moon interpretation. For all the Sun's individual aspects and aspect patterns, see my written forecast. Mercury's aspects are mostly harmonious. They empower your ability to think, learn, write, teach, and communicate. This effect is strongest November 17 through 22nd. After Mercury turns retrograde on November 18th, you get extra support for reflection and contemplation. Mercury is in Scorpio as it makes most of these aspects. As noted in my new moon interpretation, Mercury in Scorpio can help you focus on taboo topics and support your work as a researcher, detective, or investigator. Mercury aspects all the social and outer planets and helps form two harmonious aspect patterns. For details on all this, see my written forecast. Then Venus's aspects with the slower planets can focus energy into your relationships, creativity, finances, and aesthetic appreciation. Her slower planet aspects are strongest November 26th through December 2nd. Like Mercury, Venus is in Scorpio as she makes most of her aspects. This means that most of her aspects are also harmonious. Venus in Scorpio opens specific opportunities. You and those you're close with can choose to enjoy more openness, authenticity, and intimacy. Sexual relationships can enjoy more ecstatic light body blending. Your creativity can become more raw and uncensored, and there might be opportunities to increase your wealth. But as always, never risk money or resources without exercising due diligence. Like Mercury, Venus aspects all the social and outer planets and helps form two harmonious aspect patterns. Once again, for details on all this, see my written forecast. And that wraps up the second half of November. Coming in my December 1 through 15 forecast, we got a Gemini full moon, Neptune turning direct, and many Mars outer planet aspects, and more beyond that as well. Are you ready to accelerate your healing and awakening with the support of a heart-centered community that embraces and supports you? Awakening Plus is your affordable online sanctuary for profound transformation, with at least a dozen live Zoom events each month and an ever-growing archive of over 875 life-changing events. You'll have powerful support at your fingertips whenever you want it. You'll also get 24/7 access to a vibrant community, personalized guidance, and 6 in-depth courses designed to help you awaken, heal, and thrive. Curious? Tap the link in the show notes or visit awakeningplus.com. That's awakeningplus.com, and put your spiritual awakening on the fast track. What did Amazon's AI say about my book based on its customer reviews as of November 12th? I quote, "Customers find the book effective and easy to follow, with valuable insights and powerful invocations that influence spiritual development. They describe it as extremely readable and quick to read, and report experiencing peace and euphoria along with reduced anxiety. Customers appreciate the book's ability to create a direct connection, with one customer noting how it helps integrate with their higher self." End quote. That's based on 224 reviews with an average rating of 4.6 out of 5. Readers give this book thumbs up for effectiveness, spiritual content, readability, ease of use, peace, joy, and connection. For over 14 years, the instant divine assistance invocations taught in the book have dramatically improved thousands of people's lives. Isn't it time you also experienced how quick and easy spiritual awakening, healing, and so much more can be? The complete title of that book, by the way, is Instant Divine Assistance, your complete guide to fast and easy spiritual awakening, healing, and more. You can get it as an ebook, audiobook, paperback, and hardcover, starting at $3.99, and it is included with Kindle Unlimited. I mentioned at the top, I'm announcing our November session winner. This winner is the only Sheldon, Sheldon. If that is you, then pop me an email, benjamin@astroshaman.com, and we'll get you set up with your free 1-hour reading. Congratulations, Sheldon. And to you, Thank you for being here. Once again, I'm Benjamin Bernstein with AstroShaman.com. I can serve you with astrology readings, shamanic healing, one-of-a-kind life coaching, and deep dive trauma healing. And as I mentioned, I run the Awakening Plus online membership. You can learn all about this and more at astroshaman.com. Please reach out if you have any questions. My email is benjamin@astroshaman.com, and my number for voice and text is 828-338-9852. I'd love to connect with you. We are wrapping up. If I have earned it, please leave me a 5-star rating, review, or comment wherever you're getting this episode to help others discover it. Thanks again for spending this time with me. I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.